This is Part 2 Episode 160. An orange fireball floated out like an ardent sun, illuminating Lin Chen under its orange color. His downcast chant was almost inaudible, and an intense orange flame was shot from the orange fireball atop of his head to Chen Ying's direction. In the candidates area of the spiritual temple, Chen Hongyu stood up straight, looking ardently at the field and cursing silently. This crappy old Lin Chen is truly fierce. To actually use up Sacred Sun Curse right off the bat. Sacred Sun Curse was Lin Chen's powerful personally created magic. A lot of powerhouses would find it hard to raise their cultivation further after reaching bottlenecks. Unless they had fabulous encounters, even making breakthroughs past a certain point would hardly happen in their whole lifetime. In such circumstances, they would frequently put efforts into developing self-created abilities for the sake of seeking an even greater strength. A mage was particularly fitted to that, because different combinations of a single element would produce different degrees of might depending on a lot of variables. Lin Chen was excellent in this field. He didn't think that he would achieve some breakthroughs due to several near-death experiences in the Holy War, before which he had already been struggling on the peak of the 8th step for nearly 40 years. In those past 40 years, his main object of research was this Sacred Sun Curse. With his strength having risen to the 9th step, this auxiliary head of the Mage Temple wasn't to be underestimated for having no domain of his own. The great might he could unleash through Sacred Sun Curse caused his strength to shoot up, making him one of the best powerhouses in the Mage Temple. Sacred Sun Curse integrated some of his male energy to form a fire. Back in the day, it was in the research and training of Sacred Sun Curse that his father lost his life in an accident, igniting his fire of life beyond his own control, causing the tragic death of a married couple caught in the magical backlash. Lin Chen, having an innate hatred toward this Sacred Sun Curse, how could he ever agree to learn it? It even caused him to refuse learning any offensive magic. Although he decided to train in offensive magic for Li Xin's sake afterwards, he still rejected Sacred Sun Curse, making Lin Chen the only wielder of Sacred Sun Curse, reaching top-level attainments in that field. The orange flames flew outwards, causing massive twists to the air, rippling all around, and causing the temperature in the stadium to shoot up abruptly, as well as causing the multicolored light in the barrier to rise violently. Chen Ying's look changed greatly, as she didn't expect Lin Chen to launch such a rapid magic offense, producing such a great might. A little transparent pig hopped from Chen Ying's chest, McDull. Compared to the past, there were quite significant changes in his strength. His volume remained the same, as if unable to ever grow further, but his skin had become as sparkling as a crystal, and his pair of small eyes shone bright like diamonds. As his body leapt up, a series of sparkling streams of air glowed behind his back. Rising in the air, McDull's 4 limbs made an extending motion and caused a miraculous scene. That small and cute pig enlarged abruptly in the next instant, turning into a gigantic black dragon, spitting a deep black breath at Lin Chen's Sacred Sun Curse. This, a devil dragon. McDull's transformation shocked all the powerhouses from the 6 great temples. Devil dragons were the demon god emperor's kin, so how could a summoner have such a summoned beast? And moreover, such summoning speed could only mean that it was a contracted beast. 2 powerful forces of black and orange color clashed violently, immediately causing the 2 users to get repelled backwards just from the terrible fluctuations of spiritual energy. Chen Ying lifted up both her hands, as her clear incantation reverberated in the air. The breath of the devil dragon suffered slight losses against Sacred Sun Curse, but still managed to resist. McDull's massive wings flapped strongly, as he threw himself fiercely at Lin Chen. Lin Chen was also shocked at the sight of a devil dragon, but his fighting experience being plentiful, he didn't cower in shock. Pointing a finger of his right hand, the sacred sun's radiance atop his head enlarged greatly, abruptly releasing an orange halation which clashed with the incoming McDull. The devil dragon's massive figure was unexpectedly pushed away under these orange halation's effects. To1's shock, with Lin Chen's muffled cast, an orange dragon head came out from the sacred sun, spitting a gold-red fire at the devil dragon. This gold-red flame only had the thickness of a human hand, contracting greatly from the huge orange dragon head from which it came out. However, upon release it caused the temperature in the whole stadium to soar up instantly, filling the air in the area inside the barrier with river-like ripples as even the ground boiled like magma. From this could be seen the glowing extent of the gold-red flames. McDull visibly hesitated in front of a fire of this level, his massive figure coming to a standstill in midair. A dark purple radiance kept seeping out from his thick scales, gathering swiftly to the top of his head to form a dark red bead to block the dark red fire. Sacred Sun Curse. Bang! In midair, the dark purple bead McDull released broke down instantly, as the gold-red flames passed through. But the ruptured bead also dispersed powerful dark purple waves, isolating it from the high temperature. Li Chen's body dazzled slightly as his chanting speed became visibly quite slower. But McDull, who had to confront the dark red flames alone, smashed far away, his body continuously dispersing a dark purple radiance to dissolve the gold-red flames. Huh! Seeing this scene, Long Houchen was shocked and couldn't help but glance over in Lin Shin's direction. The devil dragon McDull transformed into was surely not a genuine devil dragon, but had some of its basic abilities, being a true powerhouse of the 9th step. But in front of Lin Chen, he had already lost all fighting abilities in a short span of time. This was by no way a strength that a junior mage of the 9th step should possess. Lin Shin showed a bitter smile. Sacred Sun Curse is the crystallization of the research made throughout all Grandpa's life. Although it is not a domain, it can to some extent match a domain, combining 3 fires at once to unleash a fire mage's might to the greatest extent. Long Houchen nodded. Looks like this battle will be quite a trial for Yinger. In a battle between a summoner and a mage, the contest should be based on the party's cultivations and casting speed. But Lin Chen relied on his incantation method Saint Yang to not only make his chanting speed very fast, but also greatly boost his magic power. That golden fire even exceeded Long Houchen's Heart of Fire in temperature. In innate talent and luck, Lin Shin by far surpassed his grandfather, but there was still quite a gap in their knowledge on fire. Inside the stadium, after Lin Chen released his golden red flames, his offense got slightly slower, but the distant Chen Yinger already completed her first summoning magic. A white hexagram appeared on her body, and a long dragon cry reverberated immediately, as out came a dragon over 10 meters long. In volume, this ice dragon was below the devil dragon McDull transformed into, as it looked like a juvenile dragon. But it wasn't any earth dragon or subdragon, but a true dragon from Shengmo Dalu. All summoners from the spiritual temple seeing this scene all felt great degrees of excitement. To summon a gigantic dragon was the greatest glory for a summoner, even if it was a juvenile dragon. Summoners generally had 2 categories of summoning magic. One kind was the summoning of living creatures from other planes, which would either die or return to their plane after the battle. Then a future summon would basically never call an already summoned magical beast. Then another kind was a summon by kind. After concluding a pact, a summoner could absolutely not let the summoned beast die lightly, because that beast would grow in strength alongside its summoner. Although their degrees of intimacy couldn't match contracted beasts, these packed beasts could be called part of the summoner's strength. A basis of the difference in strength between summoners was their numbers of packed beasts. So the death of a packed beast would be a considerable blow to the summoner. Generally, summoners could get a packed beast at every supplementary step of cultivation. Although they weren't summons requiring no chanting time like contracted beasts, they were quite faster to summon than ordinary summons of the same grade. From Chen Yinger's previous incantation duration, summoners all understood that this juvenile ice dragon was actually a packed beast. What they didn't know was that this ice dragon was the first beast which had concluded a pact with Chen Yinger. Since she was not able to use any summoning magic before reaching the 7th step, she had to bear without making any beast contracts. After reaching the 7th step, she always remained in the spiritual temple, where she achieved her awakening as the Saint Spiritual Girl. Then, when following Long Houchen back into deep demon territory, her strength kept rising, but she didn't have any contract from beginning to end. When they departed from the Tower of Eternity, Chen Yinger's cultivation had already attained the 9th step, so she found this juvenile ice dragon thanks to her special connections as the Saint Spiritual Girl, and concluded her first pact. And this was, right now, the first time for this ice dragon to fight for Chen Yinger. Actually, Chen Yinger had already suffered quite a loss against Lin Chen, having not summoned an ice dragon first, but her own self-created 6 earth dragons able to release the elemental cage. From her view, McDull's transformation into Devil Dragon would at least resist in front of Lin Chen's attacks for a certain time, making Lin Chen's loss inevitable in front of her elemental cage. Against her expectations, Lin Chen's Saint Sun Curse was just too powerful, to the extent that McDull would only be able to resist 2 rounds before suffering a painful defeat. This forced Chen Yinger to change her incantation to call out the ice dragon to battle in the shortest time, adapting her tactics to Lin Chen's great power. Otherwise, with Lin Chen's follow-up attack, she was afraid to be unable even to complete her next incantation. As the Saint Spiritual Girl, Chen Yinger needed a far shorter time for her incantations than ordinary people, requiring only about 3 seconds to chant a packed beast summon, which is how she managed to call out this ice dragon so fast. In over 4 years of seclusion, Chen Yinger gained a lot of understanding regarding summons, but did not perform any more spirit bestowals other than the 6 heart dragons. That's because she sensed that spirit bestowal showed even greater effects with McDull and her packed beast, causing a lot of fantastic variation. The ice dragon howled upon appearance, spreading out both its wings to protect Chen Yinga behind its back, while releasing an icy blue breath at Lin Chen. Lin Chen's face fell. Naturally, he didn't believe that defeating McDull would achieve victory against Chen Yinga, as this young girl showed her ability as a spirit master of the 9th step in the previous match, very capable in summoning magical beasts, her previous creature summoning gate having caused the surge of myriads of beasts, making it very hard to resist. This was also why he utilized Sacred Sun Curse right off the bat, because he couldn't let Chen Yinga unleash her might to make use of her summoning magic to the greatest extent. The gold-red dragon head was still growing out from the Saint Sun, when it finished gathering its power and released another gold-red breath with the same thickness, passing through the vast sky instantly to shoot straight at the ice dragon. The gap of strength between the ice dragon and Saint Sun was visible to everyone inside the hot stadium. Only the areas surrounding Chen Yinga and the ice dragon were not affected by the heat dispersed by the Saint Sunfire dragon, which caused all the areas to feel boiling hot. Without a doubt, the Saint Sunfire dragon was much stronger, and furthermore, Lin Chen's incantation was still ongoing. No one knew what would be the next move for him to combine with Saint Sun Curse, but everyone predicted that it would in no way be weak. The battle having come to this stage, Chen Yinga was in an extremely disadvantageous position. God Descent, Myriad Beast rank rise. Chen Yinga had a tenacious look. Don't underestimate her for ordinarily being very playful. As a matter of fact, Yinga's a very competitive person. Yang Wenjiao having washed out, she would by no means permit herself to get eliminated like that. Chen Yinga's body suddenly produced milky white drizzles, and immediately, a great illusory image lifted itself off her back. That silhouette seemed to be human-shaped, but the instant it appeared, the whole stadium started reverberating with astonishing sounds of beasts' roars. What a spectacular scene! Even just these sounds caused Lin Chen's body to sway, and affected the Saint Sun Dragon as well. 2 drizzling radiances were emitted from Chen Yinga's body, one of which landed on the distant McDull, who was resisting the Saint Sun flames, and the other one on the ice dragon right in front of her. Immediately, fantastic scenes surged out. What came to sight first was this gigantic ice dragon in front of Chen Yinga. It instantly swelled, her ice blue attack turning entirely white. A drizzling white ice fog covered a half of the stadium in the blink of an eye, the ice dragon suddenly shooting up to a length of over 30 meters. Its breath forcibly stopped the Saint Sun Dragon's flames, ice and gold red interweaving and causing a disruption. This was already the appearance of an adult ice dragon. The powerhouses in the spiritual temple were all dumbstruck at this scene. As far as they remembered, there had never been a summoning spell enabling instantly raising an infant magical beast to adulthood, causing it to rise to its adult strength. On the other side, McDull, who received the boost from the white glow released by Chen Yinga, also sustained massive changes. His body abruptly inflated by close to twice, turning into a gigantic black dragon over 30 meters long, letting out low roars while releasing its dark purple-colored darkness spiritual energy which corroded the Saint Sun flame at great speed. Shockingly, McDull let out another long cry, its black body rapidly turning white. Numerous changes continued to appear, until it transformed instantly into an adult ice dragon flapping its both wings to fly toward Chen Yinga, and released a breath toward the distant Lin Chen. This is shapeshift. The summoners all watched the battle before their eyes dumbstruck. Even the most experienced summoners were in deep shock. Chen Yinga's summoning magics were something they had never seen or heard about before. What were those abilities? The appearance of a second ice dragon caused Lin Chen's look to change greatly. Facing one adult ice dragon was already very tough, so with this second one here, his Saint Sunfire would hardly keep its advantage. Chen Yinga kept the same complexion as she kept chanting. Without the boost from her Saint spiritual dress, her magic force was limited, but never forget that she's the first spiritual saint daughter to have ever appeared in the past several thousand years in the spiritual temple. The huge figure on her back was the god's descent of the beast god. After over 4 years of deep meditation, Chen Yinga came to choose her own path. Just like Lin Xin went for the path simplifying complex magic and Sima Xian went for a berserk fighting style, her path was a perfect integration of the beast god's abilities. Those 2 white glows were from her domain, which was created from fusing her spiritual bestowal and god's descent, the beast god domain. The beast god domain's power lay in its powerful single target effects at a large range. Its only effect was amplification, taking effect on Chen Yinga's summons. The juvenile ice dragon having transformed into an adult ice dragon upon getting the mythological beast domain's boost, and McDull having also gotten his strength boosted significantly. Aimed on a larger scale, The individual boost would get smaller as the number of targets increased. Should be my turn, Chen Yinga declared secretly, her incantation coming to a sudden stop as she spread her hands up and directed them to the sky. Immediately, the immense figure on her back shattered, turning into countless lustering dots of light heading for Chen Yinga's two ice dragons and merging into their bodies. God's descent transient power, domain. Chen Yinga made a cute shout, causing an unforgotten sight to appear. The two ice dragons raised their heads, their eyes turning instantly into an ice blue color. Immediately, the interior of the whole stadium turned the same color, that extreme ice going as far as to even suppress the multicolored barrier outside the stadium, causing crackling sounds on it. Lin Chen's next magic was just done being prepared, but he found out shockingly that the temperature of his saint sun was actually plummeting, as the magic was forcibly broken off. A piercing chilliness assailed him immediately, freezing him as still as an ice sculpture. Li Zhengji's look immediately sharpened, shooting a sharp glance and firmly holding the armrests, as his tone went much higher than ordinarily. Dual domain. The phenomenon of dual domains could be interpreted in two ways, either as a simultaneous launch of two domains, or as someone wielding two different domains at once. But the current situation was visibly the former, as these two domains were clearly not coming from Chen Yinga. These were the very same domain belonging to an ice dragon, domain of extreme cold. If that was only one domain of extreme cold, perhaps Lin Chen could have resisted by the means of his Saint Sun curse, but two simultaneous domains produced far more power than a sum of 1 + 1. After all, Lin Chen was not a domain-wielding powerhouse, and his Saint Sun curse was suppressed greatly by his opponent's attribute. His magic being broken through, he ended up sealed in the domains of extreme cold. Chen Yinga had relied on the beast god domain's extreme amplifications to bestow McDull and the ice dragon with domains simultaneously. Although it only lasted for a short time, that was enough against Lin Chen. Without the spiritual Saint Robe's backing, the use of the beast god domain's providential boost caused Chen Yinga to visibly become pale right afterwards. But standing in this world of ice, she gave off a sacred feel, just like a snow lotus, devoid of any impurity. On the sixth lounge, all the referees coming from demon hunt squads poured their spiritual energy into the barrier for the sake of stabilizing it to prevent the dual domains from making effect, but their spiritual energy was depleted at great speed, showing the terror of these united domains' effects. Put that domain away, this match is your victory. Chen Zidian's voice reverberated, while a golden bright and dazzling light spread from the sky, landing onto the iced Lin Chen's body. Chen Yinga ended her show, terminating her boosts. Just like the domain of extreme cold came fast, it disappeared fast, instantly returning the stadium to normal. McDull returned to its little pig shape and hopped into Chen Yinga's arms, her body having turned quite scorched, and the ice dragon, also shrunken down, disappeared in the hexagram under its feet. The auxiliary head of the Mage Temple, Lin Chen, had lost. At the time the frozen golden pillar of light wrapped around Lin Chen, he returned to his senses, still having chills upon remembering the previous ice. With a light sigh, he shook his head and returned to the direction of the Mage Temple. Even Li Zhengji couldn't really blame anyone, he had done all he could, but the enemy's dual domains were just too powerful. Lin Chen was actually not really convinced, thinking secretly that if he had made his breakthrough 20 years ago to the 9th step, and transformed his sacred sun into a domain, it would not necessarily have lost in front of the dual domain of extreme cold. What a real shame, thinking that Saint Sun Cure could really be developed further if he had the capabilities, he couldn't help but feel a burst of sadness. Chen Yinga didn't have an easy match. After terminating her domain of extreme ice, her body swayed slightly as she strolled out from the stage. The summoners from the spiritual temple were all stupefied by that match. So, it was actually possible for a summoner to use such means. This was the very first domain to accomplish such a feat in the spiritual temple. Even Chen Hongyu's Beast Emperor domain was far from comparing. Chen Yinga used her own strength to prove Sanshui's previous statement. Indeed, at her level, Sanshui was really in no way her opponent. Bright glimmer of hope gradually gained more and more approval from the 6 great temple's powerhouses. The one with the deepest impression was Li Zhengji, who originally had believed Long Haochen to be the only really outstanding one in the crew, with at most only Kia being remarkable too. But, from the previous battle, he could see that their other members did not fall behind either. Chen Yinga and Wang Yuanyuan both wielded domains, and greatly powerful ones, causing Zhengji to conclude that even he would undoubtedly need to expend massive resources to beat them. The tournament went on. After this round, only 24 more people were left. The battles were especially spectacular. Chen Yinga and Lin Chen's battles were not the only bright spots. The later matches were brilliant and varied because the contestants were becoming more and more powerful. Domains frequently appeared in the stadium, and the spectacle was the most satisfying to the spectators. How would they witness such great strengths without the temple's great gathering? Amongst Bright Glimmer of Hope, Han Yu lost, Bright Glimmer of Hope having finally exhausted its good luck when he came upon Chen Ying's grandfather, the head of the spiritual temple Chen Hongyu. In front of the powerful beast Emperor Domain, he still managed to last for over 10 minutes before getting defeated, and his comrade, a demonic eye tyrant, also left a very deep impression, being a powerhouse at the peak of the 8th step, blessed with powerful mental suppression and control, even greatly counteracting the effects of the beast Emperor Domain. But, unfortunately, the demonic eye tyrant would need to make an extraordinary encounter to possibly be able to evolve further. Zhong Fangfang, Han Yu, Yang Wenjiao and Duan Yi all faced the difficulty of having mounts that would hardly evolve to the 9th step. By chance, Zhong Fangfang, Lin Xin, Sima Xian, and Wang Yuanyuan also achieved victory against their opponents, clearing the 3rd round smoothly. Amongst Bright Glimmer of Hope, only Long Haochen and Kia were left to participate, only 4 matches being left in this 3rd round. Right now, the calm look maintained so far on Long Haochen's face had a slight change. It wasn't an impossible thing to be drawn against a teammate in this individual competition, especially when only 8 people remained, so Kia and him had fair odds of clashing against each other. Thinking of this, Long Haochen unconsciously reminisced a scene from the Demon Hunt selection of that time, when Kia chose to give up upon meeting him. Was history going to repeat itself? Thinking back to his past promise to Lin Xin, about how he had forgotten to warn Kia at that time, ultimately ending up hurting her, Long Haochen's gaze became a lot warmer. Lightly holding Kia's hand, he declared, "If we run against each other, I will be the one to concede this time, understood?" Kia had a slight start. "Haochen, you." Long Haochen smiled to her. "In those years, you clearly could beat me, yet chose to give up on the match. Why shouldn't I be allowed to concede this one?" Kia laughed in reaction. "Idiot, don't think about it. Do you even take the circumstances to be the same now compared to the past? At that time, winning or losing did not matter, but this match relates to our future resistance against demonkind. You are Bright Glimmer of Hope's captain, our leader. Oh, looks like our match won't get to take place." During their discussion, the light of selection landed onto Kia as well as Sheng Yu, another contestant in the Assassin Temple's area opposite. Seeing Sheng Yu's unreconciled look, Long Haochen couldn't help but laugh. "Look, that great-grandfather-in-law wants to have a go against you." Kia let out a low laugh and replied, "It won't happen." As expected, without need for Kia to step down, the opposite Sheng Yu had already declared, "I believe there to be no match and give up this match." After saying that, he returned to his seat without even walking away. Who could expect there to be 3 leading figures to already give up, the most simply eliminated being Sheng Yu, who actually directly conceded, immediately declaring himself to be no match. This was already the 2nd time the Assassin Temple was confronted with Kia. From Bright Glimmer of Hope's 6, only one person had yet to appear on stage. The light of selection only shifted slightly from Kia to Long Haochen, lighting up him and his opponent from the Night Temple. The 2 sides were from the same temple. That was a knight of high seniority, looking quite a bit older than Long Tianying, who stood up slowly and nodded to Long Haochen seated in the last row, his aged voice sounding very firm. "Let this be a showdown between 2 knights." After saying this, he advanced in large strides toward the field. Long Haochen unconsciously looked at his grandfather, Long Tianying, who showed him a helpless smile. Haochen was slightly shocked, as his grandfather's expression was telling him that he had no way to influence this old knight. In fact, a divine knight had an almost supreme authority, meaning that this knight going beyond Long Tianying's control surely held a very high position as well. Long Haochen followed this golden knight into the stadium before taking the initiative to accelerate while going across the arena from the old knight. This was an etiquette as a junior to a senior. He couldn't just stand here and let the elder do the job of increasing the distance. "I am Yang Haoyu, an elder who doesn't care about all these matters. Since Haohan couldn't come this time, I am thanking you on his behalf for saving and bringing back the only child of our Yang family." Saying that, he performed a knight salute to Long Haochen. Long Haochen finally recognized this elder. That was actually Yang Haohan's brother, and very possibly an elder brother from his looks. No wonder even his grandpa was very polite to him. Hurriedly, he returned the politeness formally. Yang Haoyu's stagnant look remained on Long Haochen. "I have heard Haohan mention you long before. You are really outstanding, surpassing your grandfather and father. But you are, after all, still too young. There are no conceding knights in the Night Temple. If you want me to approve you completely, then it's simple, defeat me. Please." Saying that, This old knight shouted loudly, and a trail of golden light lit up on his back, dividing into two straight lines and very rapidly moving to either side as a golden cloud of light forced its way between them and engulfed Yang Haoyu, wrapping around his body. That bright golden light spread over his body, instantly forming a golden armor covering his whole body as a pair of heavy swords formed in his hands. An imposing demeanor rose from him, glinting into the surroundings, causing Long Haochen to feel as if he'd been placed in the midst of outer space, with a ferocious beast there among the stars opening its mouth to swallow him. Seeing this scene, Li Zhangji abruptly became greatly alarmed, the look on his face changing greatly. That's him. So he actually came. No wonder the Night Temple didn't even send Long Xingyu. Hasn't he been secluded for already close to 50 years? Tan Wn had lost her previous battle, but, because the round was not over, she was still inside the area for candidates from the Mage Temple, and couldn't help but ask curiously in reaction, "Who is this person, teacher? Could he be even stronger than a divine knight?" Li Zhangji ordinarily had a beaming look, which had remained, as usual, even when running against Long Tianying earlier. But for this knight to cause his look to change so greatly, he clearly had some unordinary aspects. Li Zhangji's look gradually came back to normal, explaining, in some ways, he's the true #1 powerhouse in the Night Temple. If he had obtained the approval of a divine throne back then, maybe he could have risen as the true commander of the 6 great temples and the Temple Alliance wouldn't be so dispersed either. What? Tan Wn was shocked, having never heard her teacher give such a high evaluation of another person, moreover someone from the Night Temple. Li Zhangji had some reservations regarding even Long Haochen, believing him to still be way too young. Li Zhangji continued, he is called Yang Haoyu, and is really a legendary character. The head of the Temple Alliance, Yang Haoyu, is actually his younger brother, but in some sense, Yang Haohan can also be considered his disciple, and you can well imagine from this how strong he is. He's close to 30 years older than Yang Haoyu. Back then, when Yang Haohan first made his name, Yang Haoyu had just joined the Night Temple, possessing an extremely high talent and powerful character, causing Yang Haoyu to be acclaimed as a knight with the bearing of a king. And, he's a retribution knight. Reportedly, the Night Temple's only divine retribution knight, Long Xingyu, is training using the retribution knight records he left. Yang Haoyu never makes use of any offensive equipment, because he has a really extraordinary magical beast called Starry Sky. This kind of magical beast already goes beyond the realm of magical beast, being an existence intrinsically belonging to the 9th step. It is able to transform into any shape, aid Yang Haoyu in his cultivation, and help him absorb heavenly energy from the sun and the moon. In terms of seniority, he is above me, and I don't even know when it was that he had broken through the 9th step, but he accomplished an unprecedented feat. He refused to become a divine knight. This video will end here.